In this video, I'll be sharing 3 simple things that you should be doing as a parent if you want your child to have a wealthy mindset. And I have seen those 3 things change my own life in a big way. So, before I get onto that, I want to share some of the bad advice that I hear. Things like, I'll show you, I've written them down so I don't ramble on and on. So, hope you can see this. Yes? So, the first one is, no talking about money. I don't know why we feel embarrassed to talk about money. It's just money. It's something that we should be talking about, like we talk about food, like we talk about going out. It should be normalized in the home. So I know a lot of parents are embarrassed to tell their children how much they earn, but always think that your child is probably curious to know how much you earn just because they don't know. Or sometimes they're a bit worried, maybe if something is happening or someone lost their job and they're just trying to figure out how things work. And you can always say to them, don't worry, that's the job of mommy and daddy. You don't have to worry about it. But talking about money should be normalized in your home. You should be able to talk about, this is how much we're putting aside. And just as a pointer here, if your child ever asks you how much you earn or how much the bills are, you don't have to tell them the exact amount if you're not ready for it, or if you feel they're not ready for it. And you can just give them a certain range and then move on from that. So please do talk about money in your house and let it be normal. Okay, and the second one I've heard, these are like my top 3, there are lots of them, is that your child is too young. Now listen, if a 3-year-old can say, I have more things than you, my daddy has a bigger car than your daddy, and so on and so forth, they know what money is all about. It's just in a different way, and they just have to be taught differently. So your child is never too young, really. I don't know if you've heard about the research that was done by Cambridge University. And this research shows us that children start to form their core money habits by the age of 7. By the age of 7. So the question, parents, is, why are we waiting till they get to the age of 7? Now, in this country, I don't know about wherever you might be in the world, in this country, you're not allowed to open a bank account until the age of 7. Now, I made that mistake with my first child, where I waited till she was 7, and we had a whole ceremony. We opened the bank account, and then what? Then I thought, I don't think I've ever taught her about money. She won't know what to do with it. She just sees people spend money. So what is she supposed to do with it? She wasn't equipped to even have a bank account. So the reason I'm doing this video is to start to equip them before they have their first bank account. Because the way the bank thinks is different from the way, I think. And the third one is, wonder if you can see that, the school will do it. The school won't do it. Let's just get that right. Now, the school system is built to help your child become employable in the future. That's what they do. They don't really do these other extra things like money literacy doesn't happen in schools, which is a big shame, really. I know most parents think it should be happening, but it doesn't, is the truth of the matter. So rather than leaving all those things for the school to do or for somebody else to do, it's time to take note. I'll give you an example. There's one huge mistake I made when I was growing up, for example. I've always seen my parents, they go to work, they work hard, and they earn money, and they just pay bills with it. So when I grew up, it's the same thing I thought about it. I work and I pay bills. And you know what? I think I was actually good at earning money. I still am. So if you look at your home, you might find that maybe you or your spouse or whichever way, one person is very good at managing money and the other person is very good at making money. Now, I found money making very easy as a young adult. I made the money, but the money never really came together. There was always one expense or one debt or one this or one that. You make all the money and it's like it's coming through a basket and it's just flowing out. But I then learned these three things as an adult over a decade ago, and I've been practicing it, and it's changed my life completely, and I'm doing it. I'm training my children on that as well. And these are the three things that I'm hoping will change your life and the life of your children. Are you ready for this? Okay, I've written them down. There are three simple habits. The first one is a G, and that G stands for give. Now, giving is one of my favorite habits of the three because it makes us think about other people rather than ourselves. Every child, every baby born in this world just thinks about themselves. But giving is actually an antidote to greed. So if you start that habit early, it will make a huge difference. And giving also, it's not just about giving to someone, far away in a faraway country. It's about thinking of your family. What can you give them? It's their birthday. How can you show that you think about them, you honor them? You can make a card for a grandparent, and so on and so forth, that we could start instilling in our children at a very young age. Okay, I'll move to the next one. The next one is S. And the first S stands for saving. Now, this one I know most parents like. Oh, there's a piggy bank and the children just save. It doesn't really come easy to children, but we can teach them how to do it. We can coach them on how to do it. Now, saving, as you know, is us thinking long term. So we want our children to be thinking long term, not just short term and getting all emotional about money. Oh, I just want this and I want this now. No, we also have to think about long term. So setting long term goals. So even as an adult, I'm sure you have your emergency fund, you've got your long-term investments, and so on and so forth. So why don't we start to instill these foundational habits into our children so that by the time they're an adult, it becomes like drinking water or brushing their teeth. It's just another habit. And the third one, which is the second S, that one stands for spending. Now, this is the one that makes us really happy, makes children really happy because they can see it happening. Now, spending is about looking after ourselves. And it's good to look after yourself. You have to love yourself first before you can really love others. So there you go. So it's good to spend, but it's good to spend wisely. And now let's think about bringing all three habits together. So we've got the giving, the saving, and the spending. Bringing them together in one healthy scoop. So for younger children, what I suggest is that you have 3 clear jars. I know some people like to use envelopes, but for me, I'd rather see a jar because we're very visual people. We want to see what's happening. Now, children especially, they use their ears, their eyes. That's how they experience the world. So give them 3 clear jars. One is labeled give, one is labeled save, one is labeled spend. They get some money. That's a whole different video about earning. So they get some money, and let's say they get £5. Let the child decide how much goes into each jar. So they can say to you, Mommy, I want £1 in the save jar, I want £2 in the spend jar, and I want £2 in the give jar. It really doesn't matter. What they're doing is they're starting to become independent with money. They're starting to become critical thinkers. They can think for themselves. They don't need you or I to be micromanaging them. They're starting to learn and getting adult ready at a very young age. And if you ever wonder what age they should start, I say start as early as possible. In fact, I recommend the age of 3. If they know what more means and what less means, they can see when their money is growing and when it's not growing, and maybe they need to do something to make it grow. So that's for the younger children. Now, if you're thinking of the twins and the teenagers, what you could do is there are lots of money apps out there. So one of the ones we have experienced, or I have experienced in my home, is the Rooster Money, for example. They're not sponsoring this. I just, well, happen to know them. Anyway, it's the Rooster Money. And what they do is you can have 3 separate pots. So when your child gets some money, they can have 3 separate pots and have the give, the save, and the spend. Yes? So it's the same principle. And then as they get to use this habit over and over again, it becomes like brushing their teeth. It becomes like having a shower. It becomes like eating food. It's so normalized that it's like an involuntary thing when they get money, what to do with their money. Anyway, so I don't continue because I could talk about this all day long. I'm going to bring it to a close. So what have we learned today? There are 3 simple, healthy money building and wealth building habits, and they are give, save, spend. They're really easy to do. Don't wait till tomorrow. You better start today if you want to see a change. So if you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.